everyone, and welcome back to Ushanka Show. We continue our review of Следственное дело, criminal case of Kulikova Antonina, which was started back in 1948 in Estonian Soviet Socialist Republic. And before we begin, I would like to mention, in one of my previous videos, somebody posted a comment that this religious organization still exists at Unity in Christ. And they actually posted the link to their website, but for some reason, YouTube removed that comment. That kind of strategy that YouTube implies, it really makes me upset because I don't delete comments ever or often. Once in a while, there'll be some offensive comment, I will delete it and ban the person. But usually I don't delete comments, and that was a good comment. It actually had a link to this religious organization, but then that comment disappeared. I don't know why, but anyway, they're still in business, and we continue with our review. It's video number 6. In my previous video, I failed to translate, so this is indictment. So постановление о предъявлении обвинения. So this is, she's been indicted of crimes, and the crimes about while being a secret agent of the state security, she stepped on a way of double dealing and knowingly decipher herself in front of the people that were doing anti-Soviet activity. So that's how she got in trouble. And that's her indictment. Okay, so we have a page number 22. So it's another protocol dопроса, another interrogation record. Dated May 26, 1948. The question, you saw the document of your indictment according in a crime according to the Article 121 of criminal case of the Russian Federation. And this is an interesting question. В чем вы себя признаете виновной? So, which part you accept your guilt in this indictment? And she replies, I read my indictment and I was explained the meaning of Article 121. As to indictment, I accept that I'm guilty, that while being a secret agent of state security, I told about my connections to state security to my not friends, but accomplices or people I know, Nikiforova and Tenre. And I was aware that Tenre was a member of religious secta, so that's like religious group Smirnova, Союз Единения в Христе, so the union of uniting in Christ. So she knew that this lady was part of the religious sect, and that was her job to actually watch over her, right? So she knew, and I was supposed, I had a task from the state security to kind of like verify if they had a practical anti-Soviet activity. So she was supposed to penetrate that religious sect organization and find out what they did as an anti-Soviet activity. I do not admit myself guilty only in that I knew anything about their anti-Soviet activity of that lady and other members of that organization. So look at her, she's pushing back. Yes, I deciphered myself. I told people I'm an agent, but I want to mention that I never discovered or never knew anything about anti-Soviet activity of this Mrs. Tents or other members of this organization. This interrogation occurred at 10 minutes to midnight, so for over an hour till 1:15 in the morning. And once again, she signed, and Major Udalov signed it too. So that was Major doing this interrogation. Okay, moving along, another interrogation, page number 23. This one occurred, let's see, in June 1948, so several days prior. Look at that. That's a nice handwriting right here. 10 o'clock, 30 minutes. And that's the senior investigator, Senior Lieutenant Nikolaev. Need to look him up, but he definitely has a nice handwriting. Look at that, MGB. Estonska says, so he has a, and it's Kulikova once again, so this repeat, and a giant Z letter, to like he doesn't want to bother to write down information that already was asked several times. Okay, so page 24, June 22nd, 1948. Question. During your interrogation on May 11, you stated that having a special task from the state security as a secret agent, you told about it to the people that actually state security was interested in. Tell us in details how that, what was the kind of occasion that you told them that you're agent. Reply. I signed my paper, подписка, so that's how like I signed my agreement about secret cooperation with the state security. I gave on October 1944, I don't remember exact date. The обязательства, so I accepted my responsibilities. The responsibilities that I accepted as being an agent were affecting me, like тяготили меня, so they were laying like heavy on my shoulders, and I felt moral weight, like moral, weight, I guess. And because of that, I had a need to talk, to share with someone about my душевное переживание, so it's like my soul torture. I lived in an apartment together with evangelical lady Nikiforova Maria Georgievna, so she shared a room with her. And with her, I decided to share my emotions, my переживания, my troubles. Approximately in December of 1944, I told this lady Nikiforova that I signed the papers with the state security and agreed to keep an eye or watch among the believers, watch over believers in order to discover among those believers any enemies of the Soviet government, which could be under disguise of the religious people actually hiding from the Soviet security. Besides that, I was supposed to be kind of watching and listen to the priests. So all this, when they pray, she's supposed to be listen to that and read. And then here, she didn't agree what the guy wrote it down. In case if this проповеди, this so when the priest had a statement, right, if they have anti-Soviet character. So she didn't like this part, and she crossed it out, and she wrote on the side that I didn't say that, and then she signed it, so it's interesting. So when I told this Nikiforova lady, when I признание, so like when I admitted what I was doing, she replied that, there is nothing special or shameful, since the Soviet security is interested in people which are interested to them. That's a good answer. About a month later, about 2 months later, 1945, I told Nikiforova lady that my paper that I signed with state security expired, and that government is not interested anymore in my activities, and now I'm free from the duties that I took for the security people. That no one will be bothering me anymore. I told all that to Nikiforova in the purpose that in order that she will forget that I was a secret agent of state security. Maria Nikiforova, she is age around 50, not educated. She didn't understand me correctly. And I'm positive that she never told anyone else about what I told her. In the winter of 1946-1947, nope, correcting myself, that says in the winter of 1945, in January, approximately in January, I received actually a concretное задание. So actually security told her and give her a specific task in regards of making a contact with some Smirnovцы. So the last name Smirnov, so that's the person that was organized this religious sect. And of course, if you follow up like Trotskyists, there's a Smirnovцы. With the members of Union of Rejoining with Christ. In particular, I was told to make a contact with the citizen Tenth Elizaveta. Soon after receiving this job, I don't remember the date, on the way from some town back to Tallinn on a train, I saw this lady, the citizen lady, which I knew from the Narva town, but I don't recall her name or the last name. This lady, still in Narva town, was visiting these evangelist meetings. That's why I knew her. So I approached her and started talking. Man, that's a long one here. All right, page 25. That's the same interrogation, just the next page. So I started chatting with her, and during our conversation, I asked her if she knows who are Smirnovцы, because I heard a lot of the Smirnovцы people, and I was willing to meet them. So this lady, Grazdanka, they say, so there's a female citizen, told me that she's by herself, a Smirnovka, so she's a part of that group, and offered me her friendship, during which she said her name is Lisa. That's how I understood that this lady is Tenta Elizaveta, that tent that I was tasked to kind of like locate and get in touch. So this lady, Tenta Elizaveta, invited me to her apartment and gave me her address. This is how I kind of познакомилась, so I got introduced and met Tents. In the end of December of 1946, or in the beginning of 1947, January, February month, я расшифровалась перед Tents, so I deciphered myself for Tents. So first she kind of got herself to meet her, become friends, and then she also exposed herself to this lady. Моя расшифровка, so this is how it happened, how my deciphering occurred. Even before meeting Tents, I had a job, a task from the state security to meet with another lady called Kanyukhova Anastasia. So they gave her names, like, hey, you need to get in touch with this lady and see if she's an anti-Soviet person. So they gave me address of the lady where she lived, at the town of Turi. And during this, interaction with this lady, in case if she'll ask me how I knew her address, I was supposed to say that address was given me by another lady, Titya Ekaterina, which I didn't know at all. As expected, this Kanyukhova lady, mentioned a little bit earlier, asked how did she know my address, and I told her that I got address from this lady. It's just like a really lousy spy story. After my introduction to tents, Elizaveta, so this lady, Tents, Kanyukhova, and Pastel, they wrote each other letters, and I guess that's how she got busted. Yep, so I just flipped the page. So yeah, and she said, so they wrote each other letters and discovered that I lied to Kanyukhova because the other lady, the Patel, never gave me the address. So this is how they got suspicious. So they mentioned that to this lady, Elizaveta Tents. And because of that, I lost trust in the eyes of hers and other Smirnov members, so the religious sect. So these ladies, all three of them, became стали настойчиво интересоваться. So they were persistently asking, how did you learn our addresses? I told them that the address was given me by another lady. So she was kind of coming up with another name that was a person that didn't exist. So this way I got myself totally trapped and kind of got myself in an inconvenient situation. So in order to kind of gain trust again, and I decided that I'll tell Elizaveta Tens that I'm a secret agent of the state security, and according to their task of the state security, that's how I got introduced to Smirnovtsi, and the addresses were given me by state security. So kind of lousy excuse, but yeah, she got pretty much like, okay, I'm just tired of lying. So this Mrs. Tents asked, what are they interested in? And I replied that state security is interested in people that lived during occupation in Estonia, during the German occupation, what they were up to, and generally they're interested in like personalities of these people. About a month and a half later, while seeing that Mrs. Tents still doesn't trust me, I told her that now I have no relations to the state security because they just let me go and they don't bother me. Despite that, I still felt there was no trust. And once again, she corrected that they wrote her words not correctly. Kind of interesting that actually a witness can correct the information. Okay, page 26, still same interrogation from June 22nd. So she says that I realized I still didn't gain trust of Mrs. Tents. So in this case, I just decipher myself as about my cooperation with the state security. And this interrogation was finished at 15 o'clock. I read it and all my words are correct, and it was done by Senior Lieutenant Nikolaev, signature and everything. So this is pretty much the whole story. I mean, she is definitely lying, and lying really badly. I think it's everything simple. She just felt guilty and told the people that she was forced into cooperation with state security. Remember I told you earlier that you could get in trouble in the Soviet Union for not reporting enemies of the state or people that were doing anti-Soviet activities. So in the next video we're going to review, it's a long document, against page 27. So now, это выписка из протокола допроса. So that's the excerpt from the interrogation. Now, who is being interrogated? Tents Elizaveta Ivanovna. So the lady got in trouble too. So now she is also in trouble. We'll see why, but that will be my next video. But she was interrogated on July 1948 with all the question Like the first question, name the people that you are aware are secret agents of MGB. And she provides the list, and number 3 is Kulikova Antonina. Father's name, I don't know. So this will be my next video, but as I said, this is one of the horrors of Article 58, that sometimes you can get in trouble. They'll be like so-called provocatori, right? And so the people will on purpose say something bad about Stalin, and then watch, if you don't report that, then you can get arrested too. So people were just reporting because they were scared that it was a provocation. It's bad. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye.